Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How are you? Why don't you write? Why don't you call? What the hell is your problem? We're coming to you live, of course, from the West Side Comedy Theater here in the west side of the Los Angeles area. If you're ever out in the west side of Los Angeles, check out the shows. Go to westsidecomedy.com, I think is their website.
That sounds
like
right.
That?
About right.
Yeah.
Sean Casey and the gang.
Somebody has a show coming up this Wednesday.
I was about to go to you to talk about that, but sure, let's go now.
Who knows with you?
Out into the street.
You
never know. I might forget everything.
You might forget, No, I'm writing now on one of the house sketch teams. Our sketch team is named Goldie.
Goldie, no questions.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'm my sketch is going to be the opener. The
First
one that
show.
I wrote. First show.
First live show this Wednesday.
Yes, this
Very
Wednesday.
exciting.
We're going to be the fourth Wednesday of every month, 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
I like it.
Yeah.
Normally we
I'm
don't
writing
have
on that. I'm writing on that team now. So
such specifics. And one of your sketches got in the first go-round.
two of mine actually did, but then one got cut for time.
One got cut for time.
But it was okay because I was the only person that got two in. So I was first on the chopping block, like periodicals at Springfield Elementary.
I like what you did there. You get it in next month.
Those of you at home wondering, oh good, will they do a Simpsons quote? The answer is yes.
That's
yes,
all
they
I
will.
know.
Just the one. Sammy, how was your week?
Oh, so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In many ways.
In all the ways.
You had a birthday.
I had a birthday.
You don't look any older.
I feel much older.
Well,
Yeah.
you always felt old.
Thanks.
So,
I think we've had
mean
the
to
birthday
touch.
talk. It was after the last show. We've done this already.
oh, we did?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
That's-
and I didn't
that's how
mean
you know
you
you're
felt
getting
old to touch. You
Oh.
still feel like a 34-year-old to touch.
Right.
I just meant on the inside you feel
It's
better.
like comparing a steak, how you do the palm test,
Yeah.
like that thing.
A cook
Yeah.
showed me that in the kitchen.
Okay, perfect.
When I was a 20-year-old waiter. He said, do this
Right.
on the back of your hand.
Yeah,
That's the way the steak should feel.
absolutely.
I said, stop talking and keep cooking. I got customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our show. Thanks so much. Our guest fell asleep while we were waiting. Let me tell you about next week. Those of you wondering, what the hell's in the future? Well, I've got it right here for you. Jamie Lee Curtis. There you have it. 3 names, no waiting. Soon to be a serial killer, I'm guessing. Don't they normally have the 3 names right there in the title?
Typically.
Jamie Lee Fitness will be here next Sunday, the 27th. Our 7th anniversary show coming up live from Largo, the Coronet. They said it wouldn't last. Fuck them. Same venues last year in Los Angeles, the lovely Largo at the Coronet. Guests include Jeff Goldblum, not just talking, a little on the keyboard too. Plays a beautiful jazz piano. The great Colin Hay, not just playing guitar and singing, but also talking. And arguably the top touring stand-up in the world right now. He's gone worldwide, Bill Burr. Crazy
right.
funny, ridiculous funny. Man, is he funny.
Get your tickets for that at largo-la.com.
Thank you for that, Sam.
if
Yeah,
you
get
wanna
your
make
tickets.
if you're a guy and you want to make your lady friend feel extremely uncomfortable,
Yeah.
bring her to see Bill
If
Burr.
you want to
Which I love him, and
Yeah.
one of my favorite. I've seen him live like twice now in the past month, and my favorite thing now is just watching all the women around me shut down as he goes into his bits, and I think they're brilliant.
He goes into his anti-feminism hunk.
and about the wage gap
and breaks
stuff,
down the wage gap and how
and
it's
then
not actually
women
a
just
thing.
sit there like
Yeah, women just want to. And one woman
legs,
spoke
arms
up.
crossed, and
One
yes.
woman spoke up because he did the crazy funny thing about Kanye West, which is almost like picking on an invalid at this point. Because he's making fun of himself every time he opens his yap. Yap for 300. Check our library, won't you, at the iTunes, the Earwolf. How do you do the show? Write to us, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Fan mail at KPCS. Nope.
KPCS fan mail.
That's right, KPCS fan mail at gmail.com. KPCS fan mail at gmail.com. Write to us, won't you please? Subscribe to us. Write a review. Don't break a nail. Whatever you can do. You said you want to be a part of the show. Here's your chance. All right, that's all the preamble, I believe. Our guest today, I've spoken about her to you when I've talked about this little indie comedy that I directed, and we went to Bulgaria. My guest today was fortunate not to have to make that journey, but we will talk about how much she loves and missed the opportunity to go to Bulgaria. Please welcome Jane Lynch, ladies and Jews.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please be seated. Jane,
Yes.
how are you?
Great. How are you, Ken?
Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, pleasure.
We had a guest on recently, and during the famous questions portion, we heard from you.
Yes, Carol Leifer.
Carol Leifer, you were kind enough to write in, and you were one of 2 people who wrote in, speaking about being at her wedding. I think Gary Shandling was the other one in his question, also mentioned the wedding. And thank you for that.
Hey, my pleasure.
We'll get to your famous questions in a little bit.
Can't
We've
wait.
got a couple of winners.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, I thought about the famous questions thing, which is, these aren't questions that are famous themselves.
The people who are
They're questions
posing them are
from
famous,
famous people
which is very flattering.
who are friends with the guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized at one point there was a slight narcissistic aspect, which was I'm potentially showing off that I can reach these people
Yeah, right.
and get them to write and ask them to write a
There's
question.
a lot of
to
levels
you.
of narcissism in the whole thing.
Well, I went ahead and put my name in the title of the show. Listen,
Yeah.
I believe you are our first guest who has her own wax figure
Oh, yes.
at Madame Tussauds. I always thought it was Trousseau's, but it's Tussauds.
Tussauds.
That I'm aware of. Maybe others. Is there a John Hamm wax thing?
I don't think he would do
I mean,
it.
other than my home, probably not.
Now, when you say I don't think he would do it, what is
Yeah.
the process? They
It's-
dip you in wax.
Yeah, I'm sure he was asked. They dip you in wax, but it's almost like they use these instruments that look like instruments of torture.
Sure.
They measure for like from here to here to here to here, and they put you on this lazy Susan, and you like in your outfit, and I'm in the tracksuit, and they
Asian
spin
men
you
sitting
around.
around the
Yeah,
table.
and they're photographing. But it was pretty neat. And then the ceremony felt like my funeral.
Why?
You know how people in a casket look all waxy?
Yeah.
And there was this somberness to it that wasn't like exultant. It was, ladies and gentlemen, Jane Lynch.
And is there an unveiling?
And they
It's
unveil
covered,
it, and I take the picture with
and you're
it.
supposed to pretend that it's perfectly you.
Yeah, and go, oh my gosh.
Which it isn't.
Well, no, the hair was really bad. But as my ass was smaller,
I'll
which
say.
pleased me. It was very nice. As we were leaving, going through the garage to get into our car, a woman with my body and a guy with my head were waiting at the elevator like this.
Na, na,
Yeah.
na, na,
Yeah.
na, 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 na.
Yeah, it was
Where were they
very weird.
transporting the body in the head?
Well, they take it to the
the
museum.
museum.
Yeah, you know where she is now?
Please.
Is at the, for those of you planning on visiting Los Angeles in the near future, at the Universal Hilton in the lobby.
In the lobby.
Yeah, I went to go do some press for something. I walked in and there I
So,
was.
were there a few?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay, good.
And
'cause
at
if
my
it was
party,
just you,
we had a little reception that my agent came to, and some friends prior to the unveiling. And Morgan Freeman was there, Halle Berry, and Tom Hanks.
the wax figures.
They're wax figures.
Not the actual
yeah,
people.
No, they
showed
were
up.
invited, but they didn't show.
yeah,
So they
kinda.
brought their
Well, there's your
yeah.
answer, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Oh, you had Tom
Oh.
Hanks. Yeah, he's got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just cross out the first
All right, make it second. Maybe second.
comment.
Well, I will say that when my friends visit, I often get a photo of the Jamie Foxx wax figure sent to me, and they're like, "That's not you."
Yeah, they think it's so funny because, of course, that's Jamie's full name. Not his, though. We've talked about it before. But congratulations.
Thanks, Kev.
You're definitely our first guest who deaf in one ear since infancy.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty
yeah.
sure-
Have you had Stephen Colbert
No.
on the show? He's deaf in one ear as well. I think since infancy.
Aha.
Might even have been prior to my infancy.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We haven't done the test.
No, haven't.
Jimmy Stewart's character in It's a Wonderful Life.
Right.
Very early in life. Mm-hmm. His character.
Yeah, he falls through ice and is in, and that happened to me when I was a kid. But I'm pretty sure I was deaf in that ear before. I was in the prairie, as one is when you grow up in Illinois, and I walked over what I thought was just a patch of ice, and I went. But I don't know that that caused my deafness.
Do we know what age?
I was about 8.
8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have memories of that horrible thing.
Of being 8?
Falling in the ice.
Yeah, I do. I remember, and I was in a snowsuit and everything. A snowsuit, I was 8, but I was like kind of floating like this. I couldn't believe what had just happened. My mother had to pull me out. It was terrible.
Is this in the Dalton, Illinois?
Dalton, Illinois. Yes, a southern suburb of Chicago. That when I moved to, when my family moved there in 1960, it was just being, we had like a party line phone. There was one phone for the whole neighborhood.
What?
We had one little grocery store.
That's the sweetest thing ever.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you grew up in this.
Yeah, and then it became, suburbanized and,
Sure. Now there's a Whole Foods. Where your
Yeah,
house was.
no, I don't know that there's a Whole Foods there. I don't know about that. There was a Kmart and a True Value type store called Hornies.
It sounded like you said Hornies.
I did.
So a hardware store
Called
named
Hornies. Yes.
Honey, I'm just going down to Hornies.
That's where we would buy.
To get nails.
For some
Getting
reason,
nails.
that's where we would go to buy all of our Christmas presents.
Sure, of course.
You know,
What?
Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
The hardware
Yeah, they
store.
would have like candles and maybe a necklace or something. It was a hardware store, but it had a lot of other things too. I think there was even a place where you could sit down and have a hamburger.
Oh, that I
Coke
like.
and Hornies.
So you're shopping. Take me through the Christmas gifts at the
Yeah,
hardware
sure.
store. Is there a little tiny Tim with crutches in the corner?
right.
What's happening?
Yeah, I remember I could buy my mother a pair of earrings for $1.19
At Hornies.
at Hornies.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel it's more than a hardware store. If you can in fact get earrings.
Yeah.
Because the true value, the earrings are
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, I don't think it was a true value. I know it was like an independently owned hardware store, and they also had like clothes and it was everything.
But this is your world. You're not aware of how small town that is until you
Leave it.
get to the big city.
Yeah, exactly.
What age was that move? Well, first of all,
Yeah.
I'm going through the dossier, if you will. I find Cornell University.
Yes.
Hoity and toity.
Yeah, very impressive. But let me put it in context, and you won't
Please
be
do.
as impressed. I went to graduate school there. I went to Illinois State University, which is not particularly. Well, it is now. I wouldn't get in now. It was not like the best university in the
It's
world.
like
It
my
was
house.
easy to get in.
I can't afford to buy my own house.
Right.
It's such a big upmarket.
Yep.
I love that conversation. Can't get in my own house. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
You can't get into.
I would not be able
Illinois
to.
State
I would
College
not be.
now?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get in there
Because of
now.
the grades?
Yeah, because of my grades. I mean, I
Sure.
was a straight, as you say, don't underestimate the amount of C- students, Kevin Pollak, in this country. I was one of them.
Were you?
Yeah, and
Me too, by
Yeah,
the way.
and I got into Illinois State, which happened to have a kick-ass theater department. All the Steppenwolf people from Chicago, like
Malkovich?
Malkovich, Laurie Metcalf.
Kenny?
Sinise?
Gary Sinise. No, you know what? Gary didn't go to college. Gary actually stayed out of college and started to create this thing that when they graduated, they all joined.
hope
But
it
he
works
like
out
slept
for
in
him.
his car and stuff. But yeah, Joan Allen. No, I think Joan went to Northern Illinois.
Kinney? There's a guy, Kinney?
Yeah, Terry Kinney. I think he went to Illinois State as well. Rondi Reed.
Dear Lord.
Yeah,
A factory.
yeah, a factory for Steppenwolf people.
Yeah.
So there were great teachers there. They were a little older than I was, so I didn't actually work with them. But I ended up getting to meet them, and I ended up working at Steppenwolf several times.
Yeah, but walk me through because you downplay the Cornell as
Oh, I'll tell you what.
graduate.
It was a graduate school, so I didn't have to have the grades to get into the Ivy League-ness of it. I auditioned for the graduate school. I was good enough to get into that, but these were kids academically who were, above and beyond all of my.
Thankfully,
Ability.
you were there in the theater program.
Yes, thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, college to me, I don't know how I got in either. I was
Where'd you
a
go?
C- student, San Jose State
Well,
University,
San Jose State.
right?
Yeah, sorry about that, San Jose State people, but it sounds like a pit.
Like a
It sounds like I could have gotten in there too.
30,000 students. Yeah.
Beg your pardon,
So a
San
big
Jose.
pit.
A big pit.
Large pit. Yeah, and I don't know how I got in. I can't remember what my SATs were.
Did you
I
have
don't remember.
SATs or we had ACTs? Maybe they were.
Yeah.
You don't remember
I
what your SAT was?
I have these conversations with my brother, which are so sad
Yeah.
for me as a comment, which are this. Craig, his name. Craig, do you remember sitting around the dinner table as a family? Because I don't. I don't. I remember a couple of occurrences, but just like an average Wednesday.
Right.
Just a nothing meal with the family around the table.
Yeah.
I can't conjure that in my
No,
brain.
I don't have that stuff either.
That's
I have
the
some
saddest thing
particular.
ever.
I don't know that that's sad.
No?
No, it's the past. You let it go.
I'm out of
You're not
brand.
living in the past. I think the worst thing in the world is go. Oh, I remember when we
Remember
were
that time
little
we
and
were having
sitting around.
lasagna?
I don't.
It was
I don't
a
have those
Wednesday
either.
night.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have that either. The sentiment for the past.
You know who does? Our friend Mary Lou Henner.
Does she? Oh, well, she's got. I don't know that that's sentiment. She's just brilliant.
Dates.
Got one of those crazy minds.
Or robot.
Yeah. Oh, she's a robot.
Yeah, she's a possible robot.
Yeah. Yeah.
12 years old, you hear Ron Howard and Potsy Anson Williams
Yes.
on the local radio, or
You
just
did some good research.
some
yeah.
kind of radio?
WGN.
Oh, WGN, of Chicago,
WGN
sure.
in Chicago, yes. And,
Big station, huge.
Yeah, huge. And the television station is now a super station. It stands for World's Greatest Newspaper because it's owned by the Tribune Company.
Wow. That's impressive. That you remember, but not having dinner with
No,
family.
not at all. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, because it's important.
It's important because I had a crush for some lesbian reason. I don't understand why. And I have a story after this about Ron Howard, present day.
Please.
But I loved Happy Days. I loved him. I was just
Greatest.
over
Richie
the moon
Cunningham?
for him. Yeah, Richie Cunningham.
on.
Just the greatest.
Yeah.
And he's such a safe boy.
Yes.
He was such. You knew that he wouldn't try to kiss you, and I had no interest in kissing him. So I knew that I
felt
could probably,
the same way about it.
Yeah, he
You
would
won't
have
try to
no
kiss
interest
me.
in kissing you either.
No.
And they came to town to press, like we
Sure.
do press for
For
stuff.
Happy Days.
Yeah, for Happy Days. And I called in and I got on.
Had you called in any show before?
No, never called in before. And I said, I'm an actress. I'm doing Guys and Dolls in school right now.
I'm 12.
I'm 12. What? I don't know that I said I'm 12, but I'm sure I sounded it. I said, what should I do? And Potsy jumped in. Anson Williams said, well, you need to go down to the Screen Actors Guild downtown and get a list of agents and start writing them. And I was like, oh, okay. Which
Wow.
is stupid advice, I think, to give a 12-year-old in Dalton, Illinois. And Ron Howard said, stay in school, do school plays, and if you really love it, when you're done, go to New York, go to LA, do whatever you want, but really stay in school. Yes, solid advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did.
And I did. That's exactly what I did. Yes. But I saw him recently, and I actually had in my scrapbook pictures of him with. I would go. Remember the photo booths?
Sure.
I went into a photo booth and did this and this and this, and I put a picture of him and put all these pictures of me looking at him, going, "Foxy."
When you were
12, 13.
funnier if you're 31.
Yeah, exactly. So I put it in a book. I wrote a book, and
Yes.
he heard about it. And I was on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he brought me flowers.
What?
Came out on stage, and he said, "I'm still confused by your crush. I don't understand it, but I'm flattered somehow."
That is the sweetest thing ever. You didn't know he was coming out, or you
No,
did
I
know?
didn't. No, I had met him before the show. Yeah, I didn't know he was coming out with flowers. But he was doing what else is on that floor? He was doing Seth Meyers or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is spectacular.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
That's one of the fun, nutty things that will never be anything but fun and exciting
Yeah.
about show business. When people you admire
Yeah.
somehow cross your path,
I know, it's great, isn't it?
and you're still a little kid.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you've done,
Yeah.
who you've been with.
Yeah.
It's
and you
crazy.
see they have pores on their face and that they're real people.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the pores as much
Oh,
as
I
you
do.
do.
I see. That's the first thing I see. These pores.
I remember the first thing you said to me was, "You have great skin."
Did I say that?
Yep.
I also told you you had a great body.
Well, we're still working on that.
He's totally in proportion, this guy.
This is the part I
You
will.
look great in
I will
clothes.
vote to. I will vote on.
Okay.
He is proportioned.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
You're perfectly
I am proportioned.
He's a little man.
Yeah, people.
But it's all in proportion.
Yeah. I can fit in your pocket. Take me home, won't you?
you?
One other thing I loved about the childhood was,
Yeah.
and this is a quote from you.
Yeah.
Growing up, quote, ours was the drinking house in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Please explain, because I think I know what you're talking about.
My parents loved to have parties.
Okay.
And they were drinkers themselves, and they were of the cocktail culture. Everybody drank it. They weren't considered like the alcoholics of the neighborhood. They would now be considered that. But they let us drink. We were in high school, and we'd invite our friends over, and we'd sit around the kitchen table with them. And I remember these memories. We would drink, and we would sing, and we would, like my mother would develop a business I want to make clothes for tall people, because it's so hard to find clothes that are long enough. That's a great idea, Mom. And we would hatch this plan, and she'd forget about it the next day. But we had these let's go to Disneyland this summer.
This is spectacular.
Yeah, and we would sing, and my friends just loved my parents. My parents were so much fun.
They were the coolest parents.
They were the coolest parents, indeed.
by far.
By far, yeah.
Would certainly. Well, yeah. You want your friends to think that. and
Yeah,
have fun.
we had a piano, and my brother played, and there was a woman, Andy Climack, a good friend of my mom's, and she would play the piano. We would all sing. It was
Now, growing up
Gas.
in the Dalton, is
In
it
the
a
Dalton.
piano or a piano?
It's a piano.
Okay.
Piano.
All right. Not a piano?
No, not a piano. It might be. It might be a piano to certain people. I remember to some people it was summer sausage, and some people it was just summer sausage.
Root or route? Paper.
Route.
Route. Paper route?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd say paper route, but Route 6 was a
Route
street.
66.
Yeah, well, Route 6 was actually a
you
a
had
street.
Route 6.
Yeah, in Chicago, in LA. In LA, and where did I grow up? Dalton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
10 years with the Steppenwolf on and off. 10 years?
Well,
Does that
not
sound
really. I
right?
mean, I think I did like 4 plays there. So maybe it spanned, I don't think it was 10 years. It was the last 3 or 4 years I was there.
Now you went to school with them, but was there still like an auditioning, joining the group?
Oh yeah,
process?
I'm not in the ensemble. I just got in a couple of plays.
Right.
Because I knew some of the people, so I got an audition and,
But that's the biggest thing in the world if you're a young actor.
Yeah, in Chicago
in the
especially,
area
yeah.
to get into.
Yeah, and it's paid. It's, there's a lot of great free theater in Chicago, and I did a lot of that.
Right.
And then I started touring with Second City, and I became Equity, which is the Actors Union. And
What was the process of joining that tour?
Well, it was an audition. It's one of many auditions that I actually.
What did you do at the audition, if you remember?
Yeah, there were tons of people, very few women, and you all went up on stage and you did improvised games. And I was so shocked that they chose me. I didn't feel like I did very well. I didn't really like it that much.
You didn't like the particular game?
No, I didn't like any of the games. In fact, I still don't like improv games. And being on the road with the touring company, you don't play improv games, but they want to see how you are on your feet and everything. You do set scenes on the road. And it turns out that doing sketch comedy was so much fun. It was a blast. I thought I was going to be just your regular actress, and I turned out to be a sketch comedy person for several years.
You loved it.
I loved it.
We've had
That's
a
when I
couple
get
of.
so insulted when you're like, when's your improv team meeting? I'm like, I'm not on an improv team, I'm on a sketch team. We write things.
I don't know
Right.
why, because I think of this theater as an improv theater because there's so many more improv shows. I think that's the reason. It's certainly my explanation.
Did you do sketch?
I don't see how that's your business.
Yeah.
We've had. Just waiting for applause, Jane. Waiting for it to die down.
And it crested, and we've died.
There's folks at home.
Yeah.
All right. I want to give them a chance to react. Jordan Peele. Who are
I
some
love
of the
him.
people we've had here? Matt Jones, who did improv and then ended up going over to Amsterdam. Was that an IO West group that went over to Amsterdam?
I believe so.
An IO group, certainly originally from Chicago, I think.
Yeah,
Had
Improv
a
Olympic.
program,
Yeah.
Olympic, where they
Yeah.
went to Amsterdam.
Oh,
as part of
really?
so when you went on the tour, it was the United States?
Oh yeah, it was like I went to St. Louis like 12 times, and we're in a van. Rarely did we fly.
Solving mysteries?
Pardon me?
Solving mysteries?
Yes, exactly. My whole crew. Yeah, we were out solving mysteries. Yeah, it was fun. I think I was 26, so I was making money.
And being on the road, there's something about being on the road.
I was miserable though, but it wasn't about being on the road. It was just I was a miserable person back there.
Aha.
Yeah,
Well,
nothing made me happy. I was very cranky and unsatisfied.
you were an annoyed 26-year-old?
I was an annoyed 26-year-old. I was
Sound
angry.
familiar at all, Sam? Annoyed 26?
Yeah.
No, I've been annoyed my whole life.
I see.
Any age is just as good as any other.
When did you snap out of the annoyed thing?
I probably like my early 30s.
Going west. You came out here.
Yeah, I came out here. Yes, and you know what? I stopped drinking. And I started going to AA, and that kind of opened everything for me. It just a lot, spiritually, and just my whole life changed. And it was as if everything opened up, and I went,
Oh, thank goodness.
I can still be a pain in the ass.
Sure.
But that's just personality stuff. It's the way I'm wired.
And you don't even need both of the A's.
Yeah.
You're just with the one A.
Yeah, the one A, because I
clearly
blew
you're not
the second A.
anonymous. Yeah. Just the one A.
Yeah, just the one A.
She's so clear. That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
That you find your way in that in that way.
And I loved going to those meetings. Oh my God, I loved them. First of all, it's social in a way. It became social for me. My friends were AA people. I always worried, will I find friends? Am I going to find my people? And I was in a group of sketch comedy people who I just didn't feel a part of. And I really started to feel a part of this, and it meant so much to me to feel a part of something.
People going through a similar
Yeah.
hell.
And it wasn't even, no, you know what, I got to tell you, my drinking was not so much hell. There were a lot of people who went through, trials and tribulations. I paid my bills. I showed up on time. I was just cranky and obsessed, and getting rid of the alcohol was a really good thing. And go to those meetings was a really good thing for me.
Drinking alone, drinking by yourself?
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that the moment you find clarity, whatever that road is, is the only way to then get on with your life.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, no matter where that clarity comes.
Yeah,
For some people, there has to be a bottom. For others, there's a different kind of bottom. Getting out of a long relationship.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like Delia Ephron said in her latest book. There's nothing like getting out of marriage jail. You know, for her, marriage, when she got out of it, it felt like a freedom, like someone had opened up the doors to her freedom.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, sister.
Yeah, me too.
Now, in the dossier, there's a moment where you're cast. The first time Christopher Guest directs you is in a Frosted Flakes commercial.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at the video online.
Did you?
I remember the ad.
Oh, do you? You know that Sean Masterson? Do you know Sean Masterson? He's a comedy guy.
Of him, certainly.
Yeah.
The two of you, as a couple, were basically harassing and stalking
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
And
At Kellogg's headquarters.
I just remember that being wildly clever.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Guest. Any commercial you see on TV that's wildly clever, he probably directed.
I think he does a lot of those ESPN wildly clever ones.
Yeah, he set the tone for that. He did all those.
Yeah. And you see a lot of his players. The recent one with Jeffrey Tambor and
and the
Michael, three names,
DirecTV?
Higgins.
John Michael Higgins.
John Michael Higgins, I think, is in that one.
I think it's DirecTV or
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jeffrey Tambor was in it.
Yeah.
I love him.
So good.
Yeah.
And
Ed Begley Jr.'s in those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ed Begley's in the new one that you did for Chris, the mascot.
Yeah, mascots. It's the whole group is back.
The original.
But Ed and I work together. We're partners and.
Jamie, the first time Ed Begley Jr. introduced himself to you, he said,
Ed Bailey Jr., St. Elsewhere.
"This is why you love an Ed Begley Jr."
I love that.
St.
That's
Elsewhere had been off the air for
and
20
also
some
his
years.
business card says like Ed Bailey Jr. since 1949.
Since 1949.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, very clever.
When I joined the union, I went to a restaurant and I said,
Soviet
"Hi,
Union.
Jane Lynch, SAG."
Did you really?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like that a
Jane
bunch.
Lynch, SAG.
Jane Lynch, SAG. Yeah, my latest one became Kevin Pollak Motion Pictures, the internet. So a little bit about working with Christopher Guest. Jamie, you've said I suggest it's one of your joys in life is that you can make him laugh. He's such a hard.
You can make Chris Guest laugh.
Yeah.
He smirks.
Yeah, he
He
does.
likes me.
Yeah.
I just claim that he's partial to Jamie's.
He's partial to Jamie.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Where do you know him from?
Through Kevin.
Oh, through Kevin.
To this putz.
Oh, right. You go out to dinner and stuff with him, right?
Well, it's not important to anyone but me.
Yeah.
We met in 1990. He and Rob Reiner created a television show called Morton and Hayes, and me and another fellow were the two leads who were like a comedy team from the 30s.
Oh, really? Who was the other guy?
Bob Amaral, wonderful actor, did a little bit of Broadway. And so he was the heavyset guy. I was the wise, fast-talking, shorter fella.
Shorter fella.
Sure.
The one with the good body.
Yeah, the perfectly proportioned shorter guy.
Perfectly tiny proportioned guy. Yeah, me and Tom Thumb.
By the way, that's my phone beeping. I apologize.
Well, you know what? It's important that you heard it and we didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. But getting a laugh out of Chris is one of the greatest things ever because it is so hard.
You can't try either. You just have to hope that maybe it happens or just no expectations.
Yeah, and he owns me, which is a problem.
Yeah, he owns me too. You own me.
You said that when we were working together, and you were the first person to ever say that, so it has made my days ever since.
Oh my God, when you did that baseball, it was somebody else's bit too. You like ripped somebody off.
Well, I gave them credit.
Yeah, yes, you
Jim
sure
Edwards,
did.
every time I give you credit, Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
But working together, was there a joy from the beginning?
Oh no.
No, it's very dry.
Well, it was all my fault. It was post miserable Jane, but it was still miserable Jane kind of miserable scared Jane kind of came in. It's really just jumping off a cliff. It's not there's no rehearsal, but I really enjoyed that aspect of it though. That I liked, but you just hope you're as good as everybody was in Waiting for Guffman.
Were you improvising in the commercial?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. We improvised in the commercial. That's why he asked me to do it, because he saw that I could do it.
Right.
And at the lunch, when we were doing the commercial, at the lunch break, he said, maybe we'll work together sometime. And I said, yeah, I would love that. And he said, I've done some movies. I said, I know.
That's the genuine side of him, too,
yeah.
where he presumes nothing.
Yes.
That you may know who he is, that he's done a few movies.
Yeah.
Well, I've done some movies.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. And
I've done
that's
some.
the genuine
I may
side.
be doing another one. I was like,
Yeah, I'm a lord in the House of Lords. Listen.
yeah. Listen. So he's an amazing guy, and he really does very little when you're shooting. He kind of just keeps you on track, make sure that the points, the plot points, are being taken care of while you're doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does the magic in the editing room, where he basically hands you a performance.
He loves editing.
Yeah.
He'll shoot everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then has told me that the editing process, the final rewrite,
he has said that?
is the greatest thing in the world, and that
Yeah.
he could just stay there the whole time.
Well, look, he gets to go into a dark room
Sure.
with a person who he probably gets along with, Robert Lighton, who's a wonderful editor, and they just sit there for months.
Months.
I mean, Waiting for Guffman, he created I know more than one movie. He cut at least two different movies, and one of the movies was without Corky, because he got so sick of himself. From what I heard, I don't know.
cut
if this
himself
is
out
true.
of the film.
He cut himself out of the film.
Corky Sinclair is not in the picture? That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He got so tired of looking at himself.
That's what I heard.
Well,
He
that's
didn't
him.
tell me that, so I don't know if I'm. But yeah, that's what I heard. And also he edited for a year on that.
That's him in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead to his famous question, and we'll come back
Oh,
to
you're
the others.
kidding! Oh, I'm so.
One of your famous questions is from Christopher Guest, and it's so him, as it should be.
Yeah.
Jane,
Yes.
why are people with feet that turn out inferior athletes to those with feet that turn in?
And I think it all has to do with the trajectory of the thigh muscles. I think if you're pronated out this way, you don't engage those muscles as much. I don't know what what are these muscles called?
Jason?
And they give you the trajectory too. I think, especially for runners and sprinters. You notice they're almost like pigeon-toed. I answered this question completely seriously. How do you like that?
I think that
listen,
would have made Chris laugh.
That would have made Chris howl. Will make him howl. I will make sure of that. And it also, when I read the question, I thought, well, this is either something the two of you have discussed or absolutely not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Probably not is the correct answer. That's 5 points for the guest, please.
J-Max says hip flexors and extenders.
Oh, is that what it is?
Flexors and extenders.
Okay.
He knows because he makes the gym a priority.
Dr. Chen, easy go. Is that my water there, sir? Would you mind flying that in just so I can refill our guests as well?
I have to give out, in this movie that we just did, Mascots, wow.
I can't even begin with what just happened here.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, no, I've got some hot tea in here. I'm going to fill mine up, though. In this movie, Mascots, that we just did,
Yes.
my character is a mascot named Minnie the Moose, but she experienced a terrible injury where she held the splits for too long and ripped her adductor lingus, which is which is the thigh, is the muscle between where the thighs are. Maybe that's why he asked me that question.
The muscles in her thighs, or
Yeah, it's where when you're doing the splits, this muscle right in there.
Oh.
She severed it because she held it way too long. And in the show, I pronounce it adductor langus. And I'm here to tell you now that it was just Jane Lynch mispronouncing it.
Okay.
It's actually adductor lingus.
We
But maybe
appreciate-
it'll be funny for the character to have I don't know how many people even know what the adductor lingus
some of
is.
your chiropractors,
Right, exactly.
few surgeons
Yeah.
will go,
They'll laugh and go, what a funny play on that.
yeah. You see what you did, honey? She put a spin on, honey, come back.
It's like medical jazz.
Yeah, right, medical jazz.
Love that. So is it Best in Show the first time he calls you up?
Yes. Yeah, he called me up. It sounds like I was in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And he called me up and said, you're going to the show, kid.
Yeah, Best in Show.
Yeah, right.
That had to have been.
Oh, amazing. Crazy. I was doing commercials.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong. I was making a nice living, actually. And I was in a restaurant in Beverly Hills, the Newsroom.
I have the Newsroom
having
across from the
pancakes.
Ivy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They make a wonderful pancake.
A hell of a pancake.
The size of your head. It's like, it's
More
delicious.
mine.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Big melon.
You have a big head.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
have
do.
a
But I'm all proportioned.
You're all proportionate. I'm not. Tiny head, big shoulders, wide ass.
Let it go.
Okay. He was had just worked out, and he was coming in, and he looked over at me, and he went, "I forgot about you." And he said, "Come to my office at Castle Rock," which was
Yeah.
not far, around 4:00 today. And so I went into his office. We talked about nothing. Just was very uncomfortable. And then his producer, Karen Murphy, said, "Oh, I want Karen to meet you. Karen, this is Jane. Hey, nice to meet you." Yeah. Okay. And he said, "I'll give you a call tomorrow around 5. It's okay.
And he did.
And he did. And I was out walking on the beach on purpose
Sure.
because I was so nervous. I thought, you know what? I'm going to let him leave a message on, at that time, my answering machine.
Yeah. There's no Jane Lynch out walking on the beach with her cell phone trying to find a signal, hoping he's going to call. That
I don't
didn't
even think I
happen.
had a cell phone.
No.
It was 1999.
No cells.
I didn't. Well, maybe I had one. I had a beeper.
Beeper.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, you had a beeper and a paper route.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
I actually just remembered a great moment in the movie Chris directed. I don't think he wrote, called The Big Picture,
Yes.
in which Kevin Bacon's character
Right.
actually becomes a hot director because he's not there to answer his phone.
Oh, was that right?
And they think, yeah, he burns a grilled cheese sandwich and leaves, takes the girl to go get lunch, and the agents can't get a hold of him and they're freaking out. What do you mean he's not answering? And he gets a better deal. Fantastic, and that's so of a Chris
Yeah.
guest thought. So you come home, it's on the machine, it's Chris's voice, and he's saying,
Yes, actually, my friend answered the phone.
thank goodness.
It wasn't on
Much
the
better story.
Better story. He answered the phone because he said, Chris said, "Is Jane there?" He said, "No, she's walking on the beach." And he said, "Will you have her give me a call when she gets in?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. And I'm a big fan of your work." Silence.
Yeah, I can
Silence.
absolutely picture Chris on the
Totally.
other end. A big fan of your work.
Have her call me back.
Have her call me back. Yeah, while he's talking into a pen.
Right.
I have no idea.
So I went to Vancouver and was there for the next couple of months with Jennifer Coolidge. And the miserable part of me was this. Jennifer made me so happy though that I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And I think she fell in love with me too.
Aw.
We were like walking through Stanley Park almost holding hands. We were having so much fun and making each other laugh. And but we were both deathly afraid of this process, which was basically you show up and you hope to God you have something.
That day.
Yeah, you just hope it's going to
Improvising
work.
scenes. Yeah.
You know, and we haven't done it before, so we don't know how it works. So I was in the trailer the first day, and Catherine O'Hare and Eugene Levy were sitting in makeup, and it was their first day too, and they were looking at each other in the mirror, and they said, "What are you going to do?" And she said, "I have no idea."
It's so
And he said,
great.
"Well, I have 2 left feet. That's all I got right now." And they're doing this thing that actors kind of have to do sometimes, and especially comedy actors, you have to go, "I got nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm going to get fired. This is
Yeah.
going to be terrible. This is going to be terrible."
Yes. Not just comedy actors, as it turns out.
Yeah.
The alleged moment goes like this. On the set of Tim Burton's first Batman, Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton are in the makeup chairs. Michael is fretting, just like that. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. On and on and on and on and on. And finally Jack says, "Mikey, let the outfit do the acting." Yeah.
That's good.
Sometimes you got to let the costume do the acting.
Yes.
Um,
That's good advice.
what do we put ourselves through?
Yeah.
And I notice some people need that.
Yeah.
And some people, in your guys' case, because it was improvised, it's actually earned. I don't know what I'm going to do.
And that's
Literally.
actually the best place to be. I didn't know it.
And then once you got there and once you got into it.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it happens so fast too.
Right away.
He shoots like a master, and then he comes in and you're done.
Yeah. No messing around.
No messing around.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He'll let a take go forever and ever. So you might have had a little idea here and there that what you're going to do. Oh, I'll say that. Well, you got to have something. I have to have something.
Sure.
I have to write out something. And so I have that, and I get that out of my system. And then before you know it, you're improvising, and it's like a balloon up in the air, and you're all kind of keeping it up, and it goes on. Some of the takes go on forever.
Yeah. But magic.
And instead of saying cut, he always says, "That's enough of that." He does say cut, but every once in a while he'll say, And that's enough of that.
A greater vote of confidence.
When Jennifer Coolidge and I did that big kiss in Best in Show, we did it once, and he said, "I don't need to see that again."
Here's a question that one of the fans of the show wrote in. What is your favorite part about working with Kevin Pollak?
He owns me. He makes me laugh.
That's weird. I actually wrote that question.
Did you?
My favorite part about you...
Well, I will tell you more if you want me to.
Okay.
It's... Sometimes I can tell you haven't even really learned your lines.
At all.
So the first take, I'm like, this guy. All right. And then you get over whatever resistance you had in learning your lines. Like, I'm not fucking learn these. It's bullshit. I can just see what probably went on in your line. Who wrote this crap? Oh, well. And then the second, it's not only gold, but it has so many layers, and I can barely, there's so many times that I could not keep it together.
Well, we did have a little too much fun, the four of us, that's for sure.
Yeah, we did.
There's video, I think, of you collapsing on the bed.
Yes.
Because we just couldn't.
Why were we laughing
I
so
don't
hard?
know. It will make no sense if
It
anyone
was one
could
of those
remember.
things where you just can't function.
Yeah, that's right. And Kyle Bornheimer,
Oh, it was
bless him,
Kyle. It was Kyle. We were
Yes.
laughing at Kyle.
he does not mind playing the fool.
Oh, there is a moment that America will never see because our show was canceled and unceremoniously ripped off the air after
Never-
5.
yeah.
And Kevin, you made me laugh, but Kyle gets stung by a bee and he has the shock. It's one of the most brilliant pieces and he worked so hard on it. And he did 2 different kinds of stuff. The first one's going to attack breathing, and the next one's going to swell my face up. And he made his whole face get red, and his neck got red, and you could see the veins pulsating. It was the most brilliant bit of comic business I think I'd seen in the longest time.
Yeah, he is a wonderkin, and also one of the actors I've worked with where you get that sense of, well, there's no stopping this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to
Anything can
be
happen,
a
and it's going to be hilarious.
giantly famous
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah,
force to be reckoned with.
indeed.
My favorite part about you, if you don't mind,
Please.
is how uniquely genuine you are. I actually wrote this down because I felt very strongly about it, wanted to say it correctly. You can claim otherwise.
I like it so far.
But I've rarely known a person to be more present, available, and thoughtful. So while I'm not
Any of those things.
knowing my lines, you are a very generous actor. Was there someone that you worked with that inspired that in you, or did you just find that's just the way you knew how to do it? Because our habits, mine with the not knowing the lines thing is more of, I need to feel it being fresh. So
Yeah.
I'll know them,
Yeah.
and then I'll throw it away,
Right.
and I won't
Me too.
look at any of it. The night before, I don't really look at the day's work till I'm in the chair, in the makeup chair,
Yeah.
which is insane. And I'll look and I go, oh,
Unforgivable.
unforgivable for the director, and I go, oh shit, I have 3 big paragraphs.
Yes, I've
Big
had those.
chunks of things.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I just feel alive and scared
Yeah.
and present. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad that I need to put myself and my fellow actor through that in order to feel
You get
something.
over it pretty fast.
But then if I
you get
take
over it.
3, I'm
You're in.
done.
Yeah, right. He's in the trailer.
yeah.
Where's Kevin?
But for you,
Yep.
there is a generosity and a presentness and an availability. I mean, we both don't suffer fools.
No.
So if there's a crew member or a thing happening,
Yep.
no reason to call them out now. Although I'd love to.
I'm trying to think who you're talking about. Give me a hint.
Those listening to the audio-only version of the podcast, Kevin and Jane are moving mugs around the table.
Oh,
Sure.
yes.
So we would not suffer fools if there was something to be said. There would be conversations about, well, this is horrible. But when it comes to the work, So my question was, were you inspired? Did someone inspire that in you? Did it just come through the process of evolving?
Yeah, probably. Very flattering too. I don't step outside myself and say, well, I'm going to be generous and kind and thoughtful.
Right.
But I do enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And I know how much I appreciate when I don't even know. I think I'm thinking too much about it.
Right.
Just, thank
But
you for
it's how
saying
you
that.
like to work,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
It's important to you. I'm going to offer up another famous question, if you don't mind.
Please.
This, I'm going to not tell you who it's from. You'll probably be able to guess. If not, here's the question. Was it comfortable to wear a tracksuit almost every day to work, or did you wish you had a more varied wardrobe? Also, who was the strongest improviser you've worked with? That's from, well, the tracksuit was a hint.
Matt? Morrison?
Was it comfortable to wear a tracksuit almost every day to work? Judd Apatow.
Oh, really? That is very famous, and I'm extremely flattered. Well, Judd.
He genuinely wants to know.
Yeah, I loved wearing the tracksuit. I did not want any variety. And as you know, I had one outfit in Angel from Hell, and hopefully that will be the thing, because I have the proportion problem with the body. So not only would I be in fittings all the time, it would be like, oh God, how do we make this work? Well, we're gonna have to take it in, and I can't bear it.
Yeah.
I can't bear it. I had a tracksuit, there was a pattern for it, there was this Russian dude at Paramount who made them for me,
Nice.
and I got to pick out the body color. They'd come with fabric, and I go, I'll take that, that, and that. And then the wardrobe designer would suggest things. Well, what about this, this, and this? I'll take that too. So that was wonderful. I loved that, and I loved that also. It was Sue Sylvester's uniform. It was
Yes.
her armor.
The Glee character.
Yeah, the Glee character. And
It was her armor.
Yeah.
It's an interesting term.
Yeah, that was her armor. It was like her uniform, and she was always going to battle. And the best improviser I ever worked with, and you bring up Judd, who fed me some of the best lines in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, just kind of spoon-fed them to me, that people say them back to me, and they, did you improvise that? And I say, nope. Mr. Judd Apatow served that to me.
Yeah.
I loved working with Seth Rogen, great improviser. Steve Carell, great improviser.
Phenom.
Yeah, really, really good.
Unnaturally gifted.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense.
Off the charts. And
Rudd is also pretty
yeah, I
good.
was going to say Paul Rudd was the next one. I did stuff with him that was just
No love
great.
for Wayne Fetterman. He's in those scenes.
and you know what? Wayne Fetterman is one of the funniest guys. He did stand up at my house one day. I did a benefit for Adopt the Arts, which is this arts program that puts arts into LA public schools. And he came and did stand up for us. And I did a couple of songs, and a bunch of people came, we fed them, and they all wrote checks.
That is spectacular. When
Yeah.
is the next one?
Yeah,
We'll be
I'd
there.
love to do it. I'll invite you next time.
We love Wayne Fetterman to death.
I adore him.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. He has given me some really funny stuff. I hosted the Roseanne Roast, and he wrote a lot of my stuff.
Oh, great.
And I did the Creative Emmys, and he wrote me probably the funniest line I've ever said, and I can't think of it right now.
Sure.
But yeah, I love Wayne Fetterman. And he was in the store in 40-Year-Old Virgin. Let me think though, like now, we didn't improvise much on Angel from Hell. I didn't improvise much. Well, I would improvise myself a little bit in Glee, but not a lot. I had a terrific writer, Ian Brennan. Let me think. Oh God, Ed Begley Jr.
Crazy.
Yeah, I never worked one-on-one with him before until Mascots, and yeah, he's amazing. Talk about yes and he just takes it. Yeah, he owns me too.
Back to the wardrobe thing for a second. I realized that wardrobe fittings are the only part of a fortunate life
Yeah,
as an actor that I loathe
Yeah,
the most. But the reason is kind of sad.
why is that?
It reminds me of going back to school, shopping with my mother, who would make me try on 1,000 things.
Yeah.
And coming in and out of the thing, how does it, yeah, great.
Hey Kev, get over it.
Yeah. Did you just throw "Let It Go" back to me?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
I'll take it. We're just going to throw out the last famous question because we've had famous questions on the show now for a while. This might be the funniest one we've ever had.
Jamie looks a little bored. Am I boring, Jamie?
She is very unassuming. She does not have a performer's
looked
ego
over. She was
like this, like us.
You look thoroughly entertained.
I sure am.
He's on the edge of her seat.
Well, he's
she's
an
also
actor. I am not.
she's also running the chat room. People writing into the
Just
show.
kidding. We just
okay.
met, and I've heard about her, and
here I am
was
defending.
excited to meet her, and I just wanted to make sure she liked me.
I like you because you said I had nice hair.
Good.
I like
hair.
anybody who compliments me.
Yep. Great hair.
So there you go.
What are the top 3 qualities that you admire most about Ken Marino in some particular order?
It's got to be Ken Marino. I love Ken Marino so much.
What are the top 3 qualities that you admire most about Ken Marino in some particular order?
Okay.
It could be 1 to 3. It could be 3 to 1. Or it could be 2, 1, 3. It could even be 2, 3, 1, but that would just be stupid. So to be clear, top 3 things you admire and envy most about Ken Marino. Order not important. Telling, but not important.
Ken Marino, talk about owning. You know, we did Party Down together.
Yes.
I could barely get through scenes with this guy. And we played like the older characters. Everybody else was younger and
Right.
kind of, aspiring to great things. And our characters were, even though he aspired to be the head of Party Down, we were both kind of beaten. And we had a sweet little stupid, we were the 2 stupidest people and the most beaten people. And it was such a joy to work with him. His absolute frustration with himself and everything that happened to him. And he just made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, it's not fair to the others. That's how funny Ken Marino is.
It is.
He has a great piece in that film that I directed, I mentioned that you're in.
Yeah.
And his little piece in the film is just, again, just one of those runaway moments.
And who's he with, Ileana Douglas?
They're both separate patients of the therapist who
Right.
you're his boss.
Yeah.
So we have just a few of his actual moments with his patients.
Yeah.
And Kenny just does this thing that he completely made up
Yeah.
as a patient of a sex therapist. And it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Talented guy.
Yeah.
Nice, talented guy.
Sweet, sweet guy.
Have you had him on the show?
We have. I'm not a fan.
You're not as up on the Ken Marino as I am.
Whatever. You have the biggest man crush on Ken Marino.
Is the truth.
True.
That is the
I'm
truth.
sure you did.
Kenny, how are we doing? You've yet to yell at me, so I think we're doing okay, but yet I see from the clock. Okay. Let's watch the tone, though, yeah?
That was when he first owned me.
When I said
When
that?
you said that, yeah. Corey, our sweet PA, who was the
you
nicest
don't-
guy in the world.
It only works if you say it to someone who is
He's
sweet.
like, hey, Kevin, my name is Corey, and I'm here to get you anything you need. So don't be afraid to ask. And he said, well, thanks so much, Corey, and watch the tone.
Yeah, they don't see it coming.
Yeah, I know.
See, Kevin, you're right. You should stick to like these things that you repeat around me constantly because when they're in front of a new audience, they appreciate
Yeah,
it.
appreciate it. I still laugh. And I spend a lot of time with this guy. And
Yeah.
he said it probably 2-3 times a day. Watch the tone. And I've said it, I got to tell you. I've said it a couple of times
Sure.
and didn't give you any credit.
No, why would you? It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Right, it is.
I want to hear, Party Down was a great experience, I have to assume.
Oh,
Right?
yes. I almost want to cry. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was Rob Thomas and Dan Etheridge put it together, and they're the Veronica Mars people. So we got all those great Veronica Mars people.
And the writers like David Wayne, there were a couple of great...
The writer was John Enbaum.
Oh, right.
Single-handedly, John Enbaum wrote all our 10 episodes, and then the next 10 of the second season that I
Holy
wasn't
crap.
in. And we did it in a bubble. It was Stars. They gave us it was their first comedy. They gave us no notes. We didn't even know when we'd be on the air. We ended up being on the air like 3 or 4 months after we finished on Sundays at like 11 or something crazy like that. And this was before things were online and you could, binge watch them. So we kind of got lost, but then it turned into this cult hit when it went on Netflix, or not Netflix, it was iTunes.
Right.
But it was every day going to work. We all started smoking. We would smoke together. It was one of the most beautiful things. We get there in the morning and stand out in front of Lizzie Kaplan's trailer, smoke cigarettes and drink coffee.
We're in the business.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun.
So few people can be that nostalgic.
Not Ken Marino.
Yeah, Ken Marino did not smoke.
Kenny did not smoke.
And neither did Ryan Hansen.
Yeah.
Somebody else puffing away.
Ryan Hansen, unfairly handsome.
He was given it all. He took it from you.
Well, he has that thing with John Hamm where they're ridiculously handsome, super nice, genuine, and funny. And that's not fair.
Yeah, not fair at all.
No, you're not supposed to be that handsome
Nope.
and funny. Sit there uncomfortably, if you wouldn't mind, while I do a
business?
lovely ad read.
All right.
So that I can pay a stipend to the crew. Hey. First one, we'd like to thank the fine folks at Audible.com. Check your phone. Enjoy yourself, Jane Lynch, while I tell the folks about Audible. Do you love books? Thank you, Audible.com. That's all we had from them. Nope, gotta be more. Do you love books and find you never have time to read them? Do you? Answer the question, please. Well, Audible.com has the perfect solution. Get audio books and listen to those books you've been meaning to read while on the go. That's right, let them work for you. The gym, during your commute. You make up the other places that you can do the Audible.com, providing over 180,000 titles. The leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazines, newspapers, business information providers. The app is free on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, your Windows Phone. Is that a thing still, Windows Phone? Anybody?
Sure.
Sure. You can also download and listen on your Kindle Fire. And over 500 MP3 players. What does that mean? There are 500 brands of MP3 players?
Yeah, for better or worse.
I heard 506. And unlike a streaming or rental service, with Audible.com, you own your books. You can access these books anytime, anywhere, right from your phone or your tablet. Audible.com has a great listener guarantee. If you decide you don't like a book you choose, no worries. You can exchange that book for another title. What the hell are they even talking about?
This?
How can they stay in business?
Craziness.
Well, how about a 30-day free trial? Go to audiblepodcast.com/KPCS, standing for Kevin Pollak's Chat Show, audiblepodcast.com/KPCS. Start your free trial today. Again, show your support for this show, you son of a bitch, and get your free 30-day trial at audiblepodcast.com/KPCS. We thank them for their sponsorship. Also coming to you, the wonderful folks at the Howl.fm. They've got all the podcasts and Netflix. They're like Netflix for podcasts. They really are. Howl Premium. You get exclusive access to brand new Howl original comedy series, such as The Mysterious Secrets of Uncle Bertie's Botanarium. I'm soaking in it. Starring Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. We love him dearly. He's in my first film, the documentary Misery Loves Comedy, a DVD copy of which in your gift bag. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Follow the famous ship, the Jewel of the Gravy Isles, on its mission to find a plant known to be the source of all pleasure in the world, Heaven's Clover. These are the things you're going to find on Howl.fm.
Was that a plug within the ad?
I think so.
Misery Loves Comedy.
I think it was. I think I slipped the plug of my own into the Howl FM.
That is some meta shit, man.
Well, not only is it beautiful and was it seamless, but then we got to talk about it.
Oh,
That's what we're doing right now.
well, I had to.
Thank you. Howl Premium. No, it's important that I don't get away with it. Sammy's not wrong. You also get exclusive access to over 120 hours of new Howl original miniseries, audio documentaries like The Complete Woman, Find the Funny with the Sklar brothers, who we love, and Fruit. Not to mention WTF with Mark Maron, Fruit. And all shows like Comedy Bang Bang, How Did This Get Made? You've got to get Howl FM, folks. It's only $4.99 a month on your phone, on your tablet, what have you. Please use the promo code KEVIN, K-E-V-I-N, to get a full month free of Howl.fm. What are you waiting for? That's Howl.fm, promo code KEVIN. We thank our sponsors very much. Did you enjoy being on the Great White Way? Is that racist to say? Is it still called the Great White Way?
It is, and I don't think it has anything to do with white people.
I
What-
think
what
they
does
would
it mean?
whitewash the stage.
Is that
They
what
would-
it is, really?
Nope, just made that up.
Just made that up.
What do we think the Great White Way?
What does it
Kenny,
mean?
get on the phone, use the Google. Where do we get the Great White
Yeah,
Way?
somebody look
the
that up.
Great White Way.
I want to say something on Audible before we go there.
Please.
And I'll probably sell more Audibles than you just did reading
Mike,
that.
pay attention. We're going to cut this into the end.
Yes, I would like to say that I'm a big fan of Audible, and I use it all the time. I just want them, and I'm offering my services, I want them to change the damn voiceover. Audible. The girl at the end who says, something, something, wherever you are. It was like, stress one word, baby. Stress one word.
Are you offering your own
I'm
services?
offering my own services.
To replace that?
Yeah, and bless her heart, I think she was over-directed, and it's just one line. I know I'm making a lot over one line.
No, you're not.
But she's very strident, and I can be strident, but I'll tone it down. It needs to be like this. Audible. And I forget what that is completely, but it goes, Audible, blah, 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 wherever you are. Or wherever you are.
Now, if we gave you some actual words to replace blah, blah, blah.
I know, I forgot
You're
what it
fine
is.
saying them?
Yeah, absolutely.
State your name for the record.
Jane Lynch,
Thank you.
and I am offering to do that voiceover. But The Great White Way, yes. Did we find out why
It's the lights.
Oh, it's the lights? White
That
lights.
was my guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Harris Levine for the
Yeah, that
That was my guess. I was like,
see
it's
that.
the lights.
No, you were right
It's
then.
the lights, Jamie
Yeah,
said.
yeah, I can see
Oh,
I
that
can
makes
see
me so happy. That's something I would say at trivia, and they'd be like, "No, it's not the lights. It's not the lights. No,
As
we're
you
not
can
ready
see,
to
Jamie's
go."
in a tribute team who don't support her. Charlie's in the trees. So Annie, you did the revival of Annie on Broadway.
Did. I loved it.
Yeah, you
It
must
was a
have.
joy.
How many shows?
I don't know how many, but I did it for 2 months, and it's 8 shows a week. And
8 shows a week.
as
Broadway life.
Yeah, I love the Broadway life. When I was doing theater, and I mean television and film, I was like, I don't think I need to do theater anymore. I didn't feel the call. And then I was offered Miss Hannigan and Annie on Broadway, and who says no to that? I fell in love with the people, the Broadway community, the life of, I get up early every morning, but you can sleep if you want.
Sure.
And you dedicate everything to your health, your voice's well-being, so that you can do this thing at 8 o'clock at night, and sometimes at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock.
right.
And I loved it. I had so much fun. I'd do it again and again and again.
You said 2 months. Those are the key words.
Yeah.
Could you do a 10-month run?
That I could, I'm sure. It would be a different kind of gearing up. My friend Matt Morrison just did Finding Neverland for about 10 months. And by, 10 months he was done.
Yeah.
I think people do Broadway shows for years. And I think that can be grueling and tough.
Yeah.
But it's a great living. And then when you don't have it, you're like, oh, God.
We finally caved. We're going to see the musical that everyone won't shut up about for the last 6
Hamilton?
months. Hamilton.
Why are you caving? Why is that caving?
Why were
No,
we?
we're caving because we had to shell out a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think is why we're caving.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
brilliant.
think.
It's a game changer.
I just hope that after this long, though, of doing the run, they're not literally sleeping during the show on stage.
I wonder if it's, and I think it's pretty much the same cast. And
James
they've been
L.
doing it since,
James L. Brooks, I'm dropping that name.
Yeah.
When I told him that I was going, said, be forewarned, it's now so popular, audience members have
Say things.
memorized
lines.
Oh
and
no!
The music
not
and the
script
songs.
reciters. No, those are the worst.
and
They drive me crazy at Disneyland. I hate
and
those
I said,
people.
what was the ABBA musical?
Oh,
Mamma
right.
Mia.
Mamma Mia. So I said, are
Mamma
they
Mia.
standing up and singing like when you go see Mamma Mia? He said, no, it's not that bad, but just be warned.
Oh, those are the worst. That's one of my. Okay, so I'm a big Disneyland or Disney theme park nerd, and we have these things called park peeves, things that people do that drive us crazy. And my number one is called what we call script reciters, and it's people that will go on an attraction. They mostly do this at the Haunted Mansion, and then they will recite the entire script for the attraction.
Yeah.
I know it just as well as you do, but I don't need to say it. Shut the fuck up.
Gotcha.
Just enjoy.
Or go to a sing-along one.
Yeah.
One purpose for just
Ruining
that.
it for others because you're being selfish.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to yelling at people. Sit down. Sit down. During the show, which I hope doesn't throw off the performance.
Because that's also another know-it-all thing.
It is a know-it-all
It has
thing.
to be it's not like you're so much a fan. You have to prove to everyone I'm such a fan that I have it memorized.
Yeah.
And you're also not surrendering yourself to the experience.
Yeah. That's my thing with Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yes, I've
Be
been on the
present.
Haunted Mansion
I wonder if
100
there's a
times, but I
way
want
you can
to
say-
listen to it.
In the beginning, turn off your cell phones, please, and also, find some way to say, surrender yourself to this production, and please don't yell out the fucking lines or sing with the actors.
Try not to
Is that
join
nice?
the cast
Yeah, right.
in their performance. That would be incredible if, in fact, it were possible.
Wow.
Back to you if you don't mind.
No, please.
little
Oh,
bit
are
more.
you kidding? Please, more.
I had not seen your version of Madonna's video, Vogue.
Did you watch it as
So
your
I
research?
watched the original first.
Oh.
Once I found out about it, I wanted to see hers because I needed
yeah.
to remember hers. I'd seen it, of course, but I wanted to remember hers so that when I saw your guys' effort to match things, I could super enjoy that.
Yeah.
And holy cow, that must have been fun.
It was a blast.
Just amazing.
Yeah. Ryan Murphy directed it too.
How long did that take?
Not. It was a whole day. And then we picked
a lot of
couple
rehearsals. My
Yeah, the
goodness.
rehearsal went on forever for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a great dancer, so I remember.
Can't tell the way they edited
Oh,
it.
well, good. You know what? You only need to get it right once. And I got every one of them right once. I started working right before Christmas, and we shot it, I think, in February. So I worked like hell
Yeah.
to get that down. And it was, there were so many production meetings for that one. It was, I think Ryan put more into that particular, because it was a thing for him too. He was such a big fan.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a great moment in time.
You got to do a few of these things during the Glee run.
Yeah.
The other one ends up being, I think, with a childhood hero when you did Physical.
Olivia Newton-John, yes. I named my dog after her.
Yes, you did.
I did. She was very touched by it. 'Cause she's
All
a dog
three
lover,
names,
too.
by the way.
Yeah, Olivia Newton-John.
People should know.
Yes, yes.
One
well,
of
actually,
yours.
she's Olivia de Havilland these days.
Olivia de Havilland.
I also love Olivia de Havilland. But yes, that was a great joy as well. She's a sweetheart, and just, I mean, the opportunities I had on that show. And Carol Burnett played my mother. Come on.
This is a childhood hero too, Carol Burnett. According to
yes.
the dossier.
Dossier's correct on that.
Yeah. As well as Ms. Lawrence, right? Did you
Vicki Lawrence?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a big fan. Yeah, oh yeah, she sent me, I sent her a fan letter, and she sent me a picture and a little note, handwritten note. You know, keep trying. I said I want to be an actress and everything.
handwritten note?
Yeah, saying you will persevere or something like that. Love, Vicki. And you know, I know she wrote it.
Sure.
She had to have. I don't think
Yeah.
you had people writing things for you back then.
Yeah.
But that was a big deal.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, pretty nice.
And makes the kind of impression that you would want for
Yeah.
others.
And what's neat about that is Carol Burnett went to a play. Vicki Lawrence wrote her and said, I'm going to be in this play. And Carol got the note and said, we're going to this play. She went to see her in like a play in Southern California.
And then hired her
Yeah.
to be on the show.
Said, people say I look like you would come to my play. And she said, sure.
The takeaway, ladies and Jews, is be proactive in your own life. Damn it.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. Take some chances. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid.
It is. It's like everything feels like the title of my memoir, Happy Accidents.
Right.
It's like, oh.
But you have to put yourself out there,
Yeah,
right?
you have to. Yeah.
But also, if our audience would
please.
take away anything from this, it's don't get any crazy ideas about writing to Kevin and saying, a lot of people tell me
I look
that
like
I
you."
remind them of you because that job is spoken for. I
And who's that? You?
No.
Okay.
think it's Corey Levin these days.
We have one more famous question, hot off the press. Just came forward in an email.
Wow.
I let all of them know to get back to me by noon. Here we are. This one came in at 12:30. I'm so sorry just seeing this now. In case it's not too late, I'm sitting in a coffee shop and here's a question. And then it comes in the form of, it appears to be
answer?
some sort of video or audio. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe turn it toward the camera.
jobs in so many different media throughout the entertainment.
Former guest David Wayne.
Oh,
So you've done so many different kinds of
Let's get this out of your
jobs
camera.
in so many different media throughout the entertainment business over the years. My question is, creatively aside, just the day-to-day work of doing what you do, what parts of it do you enjoy the most and what parts of it are the hardest or least pleasant for you? Thank you.
thanks, Dave.
Look at that.
That's so nice.
That's the first for the show. I love it.
Wow. David Wayne, director Role Models, and a friend. My favorite part,
Other than smoking outside of Lizzie Captain's trailer.
right, that which was really fun. My favorite part is the locking eyes with the other person, and
When doing the work.
when doing the work,
You don't mean.
like just knocking on your tray. Kevin, lock eyes with me, and then let's spoon.
Jane, I'm on the phone with my mom. Can we wait?
It's my favorite part. Is when,
In the moment of the scene.
right,
Yeah.
and the least favorite is learning lines.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite.
Locking eyes also, a little sidebar to that is locking eyes when you see it in the other person's eyes and you know they're going up. The fear and anxiety.
There's like a vagueness and a fear
It
that comes.
settles in. I know it's me next. So moments like that on Broadway must have happened.
Oh yes.
And so,
And what's nice is not everybody is as present.
yes.
you know, especially when you've been doing the play a long time, there were some moments that didn't have a fire or
They fall into
spontaneity.
patterns.
They fall into patterns, and the great thing about having a new person come in is that they get completely thrown.
Yes.
Because you're not doing it the way the other person did. You know, you're staying within the boundaries. I mean, I even used the woman before me. I used her blocking. I kept everything the same, but I inhabited it differently.
Right.
So it was really fun to be with people and see them kind of come alive. It was just great. It's my favorite thing to do.
Moments while doing the show on Broadway that you felt thrown or taken out. I know Gabriel Byrne was telling us he was doing a Eugene O'Neill, and someone was offended by the verbiage and stood up in the audience and
Really?
yelled. Well, there was just
Eugene O'Neill? Offended by Eugene O'Neill's
used
verbiage?
the N-word a couple times in the play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody took offense.
Well, you gotta go back in time and
Yes, you do.
yeah.
There was a time.
Yeah.
So, were there any of those?
No, not really.
None.
Nothing like that. No.
Yeah.
Well, what happens on Broadway now is that a lot of the audience is tourists, and so they're like it worked really well for Annie, but you know sometimes maybe not
Yes.
sophisticated audience. I've seen some. I saw some straight plays that I thought
Good
were
about
wonderful.
the not so sophisticated people. You can't hear very well either. So if you whisper, they don't know you're talking about them.
Yeah, you just kind of say.
Yeah. Well, I've avoided the Broadway as
That
an
was a
actor.
terrible
so
thing to say.
I'm always
God, I'm gonna
fascinated.
Pay for that.
No, you're
Am
just,
I all right?
you're just fine.
Sure?
We have a very highbrow audience.
Okay.
We're laughing with you.
Good.
2011, you're featured in a New York Times Magazine article as one of 8 actors who turned television into art.
Wow, really? I'm sure that I knew it at the time.
Also, that same year you hosted
Sounds
the Emmy
great.
Awards. So the year you hosted the Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
Someone must have shoved that in your face and said, look, you do the hosting thing you just did, the People's Choice. How much joy is that for you? The big numbers
Yeah,
sometimes.
I like it. You know, I think I'm done with it for now. But
Take a little break from the teleprompters.
yeah, right. I like it a lot. I can't say I live to do it, or I don't even know if I could say I love it.
Live television, what do you feel?
It makes me scared.
Yeah.
But I did SNL, and I realized at the dress rehearsal, and I mean, I was so nervous. At the dress rehearsal, I realized this is a sketch comedy show. This is just a sketch comedy show, and someone has my lines right here. Fucking relax. And I did. I was really relaxed, except for the opening number. My voice was really like this. It was very high.
Did you know that was happening while you were doing it, or not
That it
until
was
you
that
watched
high?
it later?
I think it was. I didn't know until I watched it.
Yeah,
later.
you're in it.
But yeah. I settled down though. Like I thought the scenes all went well, and I enjoyed them.
Who worked with you on the opening monologue? Do you remember?
Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers.
Yeah, he was the head writer. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. And John Mulaney said something very, very funny recently because he wrote a lot of, on stage, he wrote a lot of the opening monologues, and he said eventually they would just say, do a song.
Yeah, let's just do a song.
You're just going to do a song.
Yeah, really, because
Yeah.
it just got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the great sort of default
Yeah.
for that opening, if you
Yeah.
can find it.
Do you
He
even
had the
see?
greatest story about for being on SNL, and because people always like he got to meet like extremely famous people like Mick Jagger and Elton John, and people would always ask like the number one question is, are they nice? And his response is, which is perfect, he's like, as nice as they can be for being as famous as they are, which is true. He's like, because it's like Elton John will just say Diet Coke, and like a Diet Coke will magically appear in his hand because somebody will put it
I think
there.
I'd like a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
In defense of these very rich people and famous people who are as
He
nice as a
wasn't saying
famous
they weren't
person
nice.
can
He was saying they're as nice as they can be.
I think one aspect that it creates that kind of a thing is that they are fawned over.
Yes.
And they cannot have a normal interaction with anybody, except people that they have known for a long time. So I heard that Paul McCartney would say to people that he met like at a dinner party or stuff, would say, can we have a picture? He said, do you want to be a fan or do you want to be a friend? And most of them say, I want to be a fan. But you can't have a real interaction with somebody when they're looking at you like a trophy or a souvenir.
Right.
A story they're going to get to tell, because then they're not really, really present. And so it's a real drag to like see people who are, there's no, it's the rare person who I think actually gets off on that.
Yeah, and it does blend into the same moment for the wildly famous person. It's a unique individual experience for the fan, and never that.
Right, it's not.
the
You know,
favorite.
you'll have 12 times a day someone comes up to you and it's a big deal for them, and for
Right.
you it's.
Yeah, and Mulaney's thing about working with them in the backstage area, they're nice as they're capable of being, given that they are so pampered. And then he went on to do, they would treat me the way that we've all come to treat our phones. And he did this great bit about yelling at his phone, right? First, the idea that
They
you
would
have
yell at him.
access to a phone.
Yeah.
Go see John Mulaney live. I'm not going to do it justice.
Was he head right? He was head writer on SNL, wasn't he?
I don't know
Yes,
if he was
he was
head. He was head for monologue, and he wrote all the Stefan bits for Bill Hader.
Oh my God.
Seth was always, whenever Mulaney was there, Seth Meyers was there.
I bet
for
I
sure.
met Mulaney. I bet he was
Oh, you must
there.
have.
I
Yeah.
bet he was there, but I probably treated him like my phone.
Yeah.
You know, if I tried to get a picture from Paul McCartney and he said, "Do you want to be a fan or do you want to be a friend?" I would, like everyone else, say, "Oh, I want to be a friend. Want to go see a movie this Saturday? Oh, I'm playing Malaysia. Cool, let's get a picture."
Right.
I'm playing in Asia.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
let's
you
just
know,
get
I
a
don't
picture
think he
before
was
you take
inviting
off, pal.
friendship. Like, let's here are my digits. I think
Yeah.
it's just like, let's have this. Like, I'll even say to people, like, if I'm in a coffee shop and someone will say, "Can I take a picture?" I'd say, "No, but let's have this moment."
Yeah. Alan Alda used to say, "Let's shake hands." Can I have an autograph? You know what? I don't give autographs, but let's shake hands.
I think the greatest of all time has to be Steve Martin. That is the greatest solution
he
to that
has them.
problem. The business cards. If someone stops him, a picture and autograph, he takes out the card, he has 100 on him, he hands him, and the card says, "This card certifies that you had a pleasant interaction with Mr. Steve Martin."
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the greatest get
I
out of
love
jail.
everything about that other than carrying 100 cards.
Well, I'm assuming it's 100, I don't know.
No, he would have to.
Don't you guys carry decks of sleep tape cards around?
We do have sleep take cards. I still have a
Sleep
photo of
take.
Sam being covered in sleep take cards. I really enjoyed the hell out of appearing on your wonderful two-time Emmy Award-winning hosting job on the Hollywood Game Night thing.
Oh yes.
It was so much
You were
fun.
great. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
And getting to win money for Jamie's charity, LA 826?
826 LA.
826 LA.
What is that?
Similar to what you said, why Fetterman was in your living room performing, Jamie, explain, if you would, about the 826 LA. Teaching
It is
creative.
an after-school tutoring and creative writing facility for grade school kids.
Oh, great.
These programs don't exist in public schools
No,
anymore. Creative writing. And,
No.
Yeah.
No, we're just gutting the public schools.
Yeah.
Just gutting them.
And so I was so happy
Yes.
that I was able to.
And you won, right? Who was your? Who else did you do it with? It was you.
Eva Longoria.
Eva Lunga, whatever. Yeah. And you guys won. That
Yeah.
was great.
But that really was amazing.
Yeah. That was
They
a
didn't
great
believe
night.
when that email came in that 826 won and got that money. They thought it was fake.
When they received the email
Yes.
saying congratulations.
Yes, they didn't. But the guy,
What's the gag?
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
believe
is
it.
this
I
like
had to be
publishing
like,
clearing?
no,
What do
no,
I have to
no,
sign
it's
up for?
10 grand,
no,
right?
it's real.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I bet that meant so much to them.
It was $10,000. They had not, as a single donation for a place like that. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
The contestant won $25,000.
Right.
It's pretty amazing to
Yeah.
see that. And the poor thing, bless her, said to us before we went into the final round, so sincerely, "I really need this money." I didn't need that kind of pressure.
No.
I didn't appreciate that at all.
I'm glad she didn't let me know.
I
Really need this money. Do you know how? Does she know how much goes to the government? But still, it's a good chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been touring with the Cabaret show
Yes.
on and off.
Yes.
But first, I want to talk about the show that you wrote and performed, a little play. Or what was it? Was it
Oh, Sister, My Sister?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, back in 1998.
what made that happen?
Well,
How do you sit down and decide I'm going to do this?
Well, it was the era of one-person shows. Remember when
Okay.
everybody's, I'm doing a one-person show. I had been doing sketch comedy since the Real Life Brady Bunch, which I did, in Chicago. That got me out here. And I was work with the same group of people, and I was writing monologues. I had some characters I was working on. And I had kind of reached a point where I just couldn't do one more of those shows. and I think we all were at that point. And I just kind of cobbled together everything that I had written, and if I hadn't written it down, I wrote it down. And I performed every one of them for my friend Marla, who sat back and said, okay, this opens the show. You're going to do this character 3 times. She's going to do this. You're going to put a song here. You're going to do that. And that's how I came up with it. And we did it at the Tamarind Theater, which is now the Upright Citizen Brigade Theater. And I was living in Beechwood Canyon.
I'll say.
And this was there on Franklin. Right, so I just walked down and do this show, and I had 2 friends do it with me, and I got someone to do the lights, and I had got someone to do the sound, which in those days was a bunch of cassette tapes. So she's back, play.
The musical drop-ins. Wow.
Yeah, and it went really well. It was really fun, and I kind of took something like you've done with this chat show, an idea, and you turn it into actually create something. And I'd never done that on my own.
And how empowering.
Oh, I can't tell you, because I did it all by myself.
Yeah.
And I started to do those, before I did the show, I started doing those monologues in other sketch shows where, Kathy Griffin and Taylor Negron were all doing their work, and I would show up with my little boombox and go, I'm going to do this character. And I go out there and I do this character. She was an angry lady. She had on the neck brace and a black eye, and she just was a complainer. She complained about everything and was always getting the shit beat out of her. And
so while other stand-ups are doing their acts?
Yeah, they're doing their acts. And Taylor never did stand-up really. He played a character, a monologue. So it was that kind of stuff. I remember Terry Sweeney created this night. It was at Highways in Santa Monica. And so I started doing it there, and then I thought, well, let's just put it all together and make it one show. And I played it at 3 different theaters and did really well.
That is
It was
great.
huge.
Yeah.
It was huge for me, huge for my confidence, and it kind of blew the doors open to my career, not directly, but just energetically. Like it was, I think, 15 minutes after I did that, I met Christopher Guest.
Showbiz folks would maybe come to the show?
No, and it wasn't direct.
Right.
It wasn't a direct thing. It was just something happened energetically. And
Made you feel like, well, I can do anything.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then things started lining up. I met Christopher Guest. I was getting more work on television.
Again, people, we've given an example of being proactive in your own damn life. What the hell are you waiting for? All right, I'll get out of your way. Can you believe hour and a half? How's that feel?
That's what's happened?
Yes.
Yeah, felt like it.
Oh,
No.
for the first time.
Well, that just flew by, Kev.
You know what? I was thinking 2 hours, but really only an hour and a half. All right, if you say so. I do want to ask about see Jane sing.
Yes.
You've been doing this. This is another thing you put together on your own?
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
It's a cabaret show. When I was in New York doing Annie, the 54 Below people, which is a cabaret space in New York, said, why don't you take 4 nights for your act? And I said, well, I don't have an act. So I put one together, and I started cobbled together a bunch of songs. Got my friend Kate Flannery, who was Meredith the Drunk in the Office and a good friend of mine for a long time.
Former guest of the show.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, yeah. And she's great, and she came on board right away, and we had a 3-piece band in New York, and then we came out here, and we got a booking agent, and I got a 5-piece band out here. They're an Orange County band, the Tony Guerrero Quintet, and they're amazing. And we're going to do Largo this week, Wednesday and Thursday, which would be really great if folks would come out. It's benefiting Adopt the Arts, that organization.
So it's not Tuesday and Wednesday, it's Wednesday and Thursday.
I'm sorry, Wednesday and Thursday. Did I just say Tuesday and Wednesday?
No, you said Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, good, Wednesday and Thursday.
I thought it was Tuesday
You're
and
wrong.
Wednesday. I am so wrong and so relieved and thrilled because now I'm coming Thursday
good.
night.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Wednesday and Thursday
Fantastic.
at Largo. And
Largo at the Coronet.
Yep, in La Cienega there.
There's a website also that people can get all the dates.
Yes, Largo/LA.com.
Largo-LA.com,
Same thing.
yeah.
I mean all of your dates for the tour.
Oh, for the tour, you can go to my website,
Hello.
Jane Lynch Official.
Jane
And we're doing
Lynch
a
Official.
huge mofo tour in June. We're really doing 20 dates.
I saw that on the site. I was very impressed.
Yeah, so we're going to really knock this show out before we retire.
Will that be a bus? How are you
A
traveling?
little bit of bus and a little bit of more planes, though, thank God.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a bus person. One of the things I said when we started out with this is that we can't drive for more than an hour and a half, and we do not change planes. And I'm breaking my rule a couple of times, but we make it pretty easy on ourselves.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I am so damn excited I'm coming to see you
Good,
Thursday
I am
night.
too. Thank
Yeah.
you. Excellent. It's benefiting Adopt the Arts. All proceeds go to them,
Oh, how fantastic.
which is the organization that I volunteer on. They actually put arts programs into schools in Los Angeles that have had them
Taken
slashed.
away.
Yes.
Yeah. Arts programs allowing them to be proactive in their lives. That's
Exactly.
been the theme today,
Yeah.
people. Take a chance on you.
Can I be proactive?
Please.
And ask a question of
What
our
have you
guest?
got, Sammy?
We're going deep.
All right.
I would like to know about working with Harrison Ford
Oh,
in The
sure.
Fugitive.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a
that
great
was your
question.
first film. No?
Actually, Vice Versa was my first film
right.
with Judge Reinhold. You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
sure.
Yeah,
Fred Savage.
And Fred Savage, who ended up directing me in several episodes of Hardy Down.
Yes. But the question was for Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. Well, it was pretty amazing. You know, I was a local actor. I was a local hire.
Out of Chicago.
Out of Chicago, and I didn't even audition for it. Somebody saw me in the real live Brady Bunch. Andy Davis, who directed it, his assistant, said, you know, we should have a girl play this. This is how I got a lot of roles. We should have a woman play this doctor, and I know the woman who can do it. I know she can do this. She's in a comedy show now, but I know she can do it. And they just hired me, and I was paid $8,000, and I thought my head was going to explode. I showed up, and he was really cool. He's kind of a cranky guy.
Sure.
But he was really nice to me. And
You saw him be cranky to others.
yeah, I saw him be cranky to others, and then you go, hey, how you doing? He was really nice to me. Did you get enough to eat? Oh, good. And he didn't like
I'd like
the
to think
script.
Hitler was like that to Goebbels. And he would
right.
kill all the Jews. Goebbels, did you get some tea?
And he didn't like the script for the scene we were supposed to have. He said, this is crap. And he said, Jane and I are going to go work on it. So we walked to his trailer, and it was raining out, and we shared an umbrella. And I went to his trailer, and it smelled like man. Like a little hint of BO, pot, and a little scotch.
For sure, pot.
And we figured it out. We gave each other lines. You know, I said, well, what if I say here and you say that? And he said, okay. And so we went out and we shot it. And so it was kind of like improvised in a way. We made up our own little thing.
And you thought this is what show business will be like this forever.
Yeah, it was a really sweet moment, though. He was
Incredibly
really
rare and amazing. Great question,
Yeah,
Sammy.
yeah, way to go.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Jamie,
he was
again?
lovely. I know. Doesn't she look bored?
She doesn't like to put any pressure on the proceedings.
Yes.
She really doesn't. We're all very needy.
Yeah, I know.
We have performers' egos.
I know.
That
That's
one over
exactly
there
what it
wants to
is.
be left alone.
Yeah.
Why do you make me do this? This is a conversation we have on the drive home every week. Why?
I'm an isolator.
She's an isolator.
You're a writer, right? Then you should be isolating.
Yes. See Jane sing. Check the listings around the country
Yes.
at janelynchofficial.com.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to see you Thursday night, and I can't thank you enough. I've got one last thing for you to do,
Yeah.
and that is a part of the show, how we end each episode. It's called the Larry King Game.
Okay.
Fortunately for you, it calls upon some improvisational skills.
Well.
Yeah. So Larry, when he was on the CNN, before he would go to the phones for a caller,
Yeah.
sometimes he'd look down the barrel of the camera and he would share something about himself that no one wanted to know.
Yes.
Yeah, not a soul.
Yeah.
Had any interest, and he felt the need for a kingism. So the Larry King Game is creating that little moment.
Okay.
So it starts with a bad Larry King impression. I don't want a good one, so there's no pressure
Okay.
to do a good one.
Okay.
I want a bad Larry King impression because that
excellent.
makes me laugh.
I can do that.
Yeah. Then as Larry, looking down your camera, you share something about yourself as Larry.
Yeah.
Not about Jane.
Yeah.
Something about Larry.
Okay.
Larry's life, his history, his past,
Right.
his thought this morning.
Yeah.
Anything about Larry, and then go to the phone and the name of the city that you're going to. If it's funny sounding, it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
So bad Larry King impression. Larry shares something about himself,
Okay.
and then you go to the phone.
Okay.
That's the Larry King Game, as presented by Jane Lynch and Action.
Okay. You know, woke up with a canker sore this morning, and I'm wondering what causes that sort of thing. Is that like a trauma from your toothbrush? Or is it because you're drinking too much coffee? I gotta figure it out because they hurt like a motherfucker. All right, Schenectady, you're on the air.
That's why Larry King is on the internet now. He said motherfucker on CNN. Jan, I cannot thank you enough.
Well, thank you.
Did I make it painless? Was it?
It was great. I'm really caffeinated, and I have to apologize.
Oh no.
I found myself doing this.
But
no.
the pitch of your voice was perfectly
Was
level
it?
the whole
Oh,
time.
a little, it can get a little piercing.
No, you were good the whole time.
I have to woo.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Ken.
And I'm so excited I'm going to come see you Thursday.
Oh,
it
me
makes
too.
me so happy.
Me too.
Now sit there and comfortably while I wrap things up for the folks
Okay,
at home.
please do.
But thank you again. That's
right.
all for Jane Lynch this particular outing. Do check out her show when it comes to a city near you, or drive to that city, you lazy son of a bitch. Sam Levine, thank you again as always. Jamie Foxx, thank you. Dr. Evil Chen, thanks again. Up at the Crow's Nest, you got your Mike Dooman and your Jason McIntyre. Samantha Ward on makeup earlier.
Coal miner Mike Dooman.
Coal miner Mike Dooman.
We showed up today and he had this light.
He had a little apparatus.
A light.
A little
on
light
his
with the
hat.
strap around his hat.
He's wearing this flannel. And I'm like, when did you become a coal miner?
And I asked him, what's with the coal miner? And he looked at me like I was speaking a different language. He had forgot that he had the light strapped onto his hat.
Doing a little spelunking in the hills of Santa Monica.
And actually said to me, now I realize why everyone's been giving me weird looks in the alley. And I said, that's not the only reason. Well,
Yeah, Sam Ware was here.
that's right. Samantha Ward, well, God bless her. Thank you so much. And Casey, Sean Casey and all the gang here at the West Side Comedy Theater. Ed Krasnick in the audience with friends, just so you know, that's been happening the entire show.
Everyone he knows.
Next week, he found some people. Next week, Jamie Lee Curtis. Don't forget the anniversary show. Go to Largo at the Coronet, somewhere on the internet, to get your tickets for that as well on April 17th, Sunday. Don't miss it if you're able. That's it. So as always, get out of my face.